Hello there, everybody. Welcome on in for the long-awaited next phase of our Alan Wake lore stream replay. Hope everyone has been doing good. I do apologize about taking last week off, but I am back and ready to go. And yes, Joseph Meyer, you happened upon the stream right as it starts, so congratulations, welcome on in. So before we get into this, I want to give my normal preamble and disclaimer. So if you're looking for a standard run-through of Alan Wake, this is not the proper stream for you. The purpose of the stream is to go through all of the multimedia information. So we're going to be looking at the survival guide, the novelization, the Alan Wake files, all the comic books, all the supplementary materials, and we're going to be stopping the gameplay to switch back and forth quite frequently. If you are interested in just a regular playthrough, I do have one already on the channel. You can check it out in my live stream playlists. But besides that, this is for all the lore junkies who want literally everything. Answer my question, you taking your stream time? Wait, yeah, it's Monday, Draco. I'm not taking your stream time. You're on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Anyways, so let's go ahead and get things going. I have my list of notes right here. So let's get this ball rolling.
Previously on Alan Wake. Under the influence of the dark presence, I wrote a horror story that is coming true. Jagger had been my editor, making sure that the unfolding story would make her more and more powerful. Some part of me had been aware enough to write my escape into the story.
Together we can create something absolutely wonderful.
The lake, it does something to the works of art created here. It makes them come true. My mom gave me this old light switch.
The clicker.
Alice is being kept in a dark prison. I need to find Cynthia Weaver to fix this.
It's your fault, and you're gonna pay for it.
Boom. The clicker.
Well, we're expecting a record crowd from the neighboring counties. Naturally, we hope to break the record set by last year's Moose Fest in our neighboring town, Watery. Ladies and gentlemen,
See, Watery's already
some people
referenced.
ask me, what's the big deal about Deer Fest? And I think that this sums it up. It's about friendship and community. We've got a great party coming up, but let's try to hold it in until tomorrow and get through the night in one piece, all right?
I have it. Someone will come for it when the time is right. Thomas said so. He wrote it. The key is insurance. It's my job to keep it safe. Safe in the light. Always in the light.
All the manuscript pages were gone. The FBI agent had taken them.
I think my tongue just took a crap in my mouth. Ugh. Oh, wait, we're in jail now? Oh, Al. Al, this is not good.
That about sums it up.
Okay, yeah, I'm turning around. And I think it's kind of cruel that they throw the toilet paper this far up the wall. Like, you're sitting there and you have to stand up
I need to talk to
and lean over to
She's
grab
the
it.
one in the song. The Lady of the Light.
That's just mean.
What, the crazy lady? Ugh, whatever you say, Al, but we're stuck here. They're not gonna...
I had some reading to do first, Sheriff, and let me tell you, it was an interesting read. Well, I've got you now, Raymond Chandler. It's all here. All the evidence, including conspiracy to murder a federal agent. There's no way you're walking out of here. You hear me in there, Bret Easton Ellis? Huh?
Agent Nightingale, I want to talk to your superior.
Well, we all want things, Sheriff. I wanted my...
Partner.
Look, that's not possible right now.
Agent Nightingale, I insist. Wake, what's wrong?
Lady, are you stupid? It's a trick. It's an obvious trick.
Okay, I've had enough of this crap. Wake, I'm gonna trust you with this.
You're joking.
Agent Nightingale, your opinion would matter more if you were sober and if I actually believed you were here on official business.
Whoa! Get back in the cell, Stephen King. The only way you're leaving this place is over my dead... Wait a minute. I know this...
Bye-bye.
Oh my god!
Light. We need light. It's the only way to fight this thing.
In my office. I've got your things there. Follow me.
Oh, man! We're sitting ducks with the lights out!
Stay cool. I can get the emergency power on.
Awesome, but before we do that, we need to pause and do a little bit of reading. Alright. So, this may be like completely out of nowhere and probably the worst place to mention this, but in the novelization, Barry wants to take out a Super Bowl ad to advertise the Andersons Moonshine. Because, you know, Barry's always working a hustle one way or another. Also, the reason, at least in the novelization, the reason Nightingale came out here is because the previous week before he showed up in town, he received a notice of a missing persons report based out of Bright Falls. And most likely it's referring to Alice's disappearance, but also literally, I want to say like a day or two before, Ellen Adams went missing in town also. So most likely they're still talking about Alice, but two women went missing within a day or so of each other. Can't stay for the whole stream because you're right at this part. Hey, no worries, Carol. Thanks for stopping by. Alrighties. Also, in the Alan Wake files... when Clay Stewart later interviewed Sheriff Breaker, she claimed that Nightingale, her and Nightingale's conversations and their interactions were very cordial and cooperative, which we know is a bunch of malarkey. And would also not answer Clay when he was asking about where Nightingale currently is. Okay, so a lot of this we've already discussed. I'm just going to skip over that section. We've already talked about the Freedom of Information Act request that Clay put in. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and look at the manuscripts and get the ball rolling.
Nightingale tried to make sense of the manuscript. It was disjointed and strange. He didn't understand half of it, but it all rang true. Impossibly true. He took out his hip flask when he reached the page that described how he reached the page that made him take out his hip flask. It wasn't the booze that made his mind reel.
And this is not as crazy as the one we found over by the South Gorge, or the Grey Gorge ghost town. Aziza Thusen, feel free to ask anything. We're talking about the entire Remedyverse, start to finish, so full series spoilers. I'm down to answer anything.
Felt the situation veering out of his control, but the gun at least felt steady in his hands. He was ready to fire, resolved that he would let this happen over his dead body. And yet he hesitated. He had seen this moment before, read it in the page. He was transfixed by the deja vu and the horror that he was a character in a story someone had written. Then the monstrous presence burst in behind him and dragged him into the night.
To answer your question, Vest, the reason the Dark Presence doesn't just scoop up Alan like it did with Nightingale is because the story... That's not the way the story goes. This Dark Presence is bound by the events of Departure, just like any other character within it. And in the story, it grabs Nightingale in the scene, and at no point does it grab Alan. So... plot armor. That's the best way to put it, to be honest. Hello, give me some flares. I love how they later turned this room into Tim Breaker's office. Where was the radio room originally? And the area that was Sarah's office turns into the staircase down into the morgue.
Here are your things. Wake, what do I need to know? What do you need from me?
They can be hurt in the light, only in the light. And I need to find Cynthia Weaver. She can help me stop this.
Light. Check. Cynthia. She lives in the old decommissioned power plant. I can get you there pretty quickly in the rescue chopper. Come on, let's get back to your friend.
I'll take it. So to answer your question, Aziz...
I need you to stay here.
Hold on. We'll have to wait until this whole scene's done.
We're going to fetch our ride, but I have friends who need to be warned about this, and I can't be in two places at once. I need your help.
Well, okay.
Here's a list of people and phone numbers. I need you to call them and tell them you have a message from me. Night Springs, okay? They'll know what to do.
Night Springs? Like the TV show? Gotcha. Oh, hey, that radio guy is on the list. Maine. Who's Frank Breaker? He related to you?
My dad.
Hey, is this like a secret society?
Can you do this?
Like the Bookhouse Boys.
Power's on. These guys need to be alerted, just in case we don't come back.
You'll come back for me though, right?
As soon as we get the chopper ready. Thanks, Wheeler. I owe you one. Okay, let's go, Wake. Through the back.
Okay, let's pause real quick. Do you think the Resident will finally see more about the Golden Space Helmet? Probably, Tyler. I will say that is very likely. So we're just gonna hang out here and listen to Barry's audio.
There's any way I could order one, Al?
My hangover wants you to shut up and get to work.
Hello, Mr. Breaker? This is Barry Wheeler. Yeah, I know it's late, but listen, the sheriff, Sarah, asked me to tell you something. She says Night Springs, okay? So I guess she... Yes, sir. Okay, No, She's okay. She's just busy, so she asked me to...
I'm not going to interrupt Barry.
Oh, no. Actually, I'm a literary agent, sir. I'm just helping her out because she's busy right now. Well, the one you'd most likely be familiar with is Alan Wake. You're kidding? Well, I'm glad to hear that, sir. I'll tell Al you said that. That's really nice. But listen, I really need to make some more calls here. You got the message, right? Yeah, that's right. Okay, thanks, sir. Bye now.
Perfect. So,
hey, the sheriff's dad is a big fan, Al. Said you're the best thing to happen to crime fiction since James Elroy. I think he was a little drunk, though.
fair. So yeah, the whole thing with the morgue and the remodel here, it's not just that they're doing renovations. It is literally just a reality shift. Reality got altered for the purpose of return.
Hello? This is Barry Wheeler. I'm calling on behalf of the sheriff. Sarah says Night Springs. Okay? Okay, bye.
Well, it's not just digging under it, but also the location of the sheriff's department or sheriff's station is different in this game than it is from the Alan Wake 2.
Night Springs. Okay? Bye now.
Like, they literally took the entire building and moved like a block and a half up the road. Yeah, if you look at it in the out of bounds view, you can tell exactly where it's located. It's not in the same place.
Hello, ma'am. Sorry to bother you. Barry Wheeler calling for Sheriff Breaker. She asked me to tell you... Wheeler? Ma'am, she asked me to... No, I'm... Yes, but the sheriff asked me to... Yeah, I think this is gonna take a while, Al. You better get going.
Okay, thank you, Barry. So, first things first, let's go ahead and run back into the office. So, the letter that was up here from the FBC addressed to Frank Brinker is no longer present. So, very plausibly, Sarah already delivered it to her father. Now, we still don't know what the contents of that letter were.
But, ma'am, I'm supposed to...
Barry, move, move!
Ma'am, just hear me.
Boom. Ready for some coffee thermos lore? We haven't had any in a while. Let's check it out. Alright, coffee thermos lore. So this one is going to be on page 171. 148. 168 and 171. Damn good coffee here. I thought we'd search the sheriff's station more thoroughly, but that's what you get with Thornton and Mulligan, a pair of clowns with revolvers, pretending to be law enforcement. Jeez, I'm starting to sound like Nightingale. This thermos was found in the station close to Deputy Grant's desk on a filing cabinet. Alright, so right now he's just kind of talking smack on the boys. Alrighties. And actually, while we are there... Are you guys ready? We're officially starting the Night Springs comic book. So, as soon as Barry makes that call and speaks with Frank Breaker, this is basically when this comic book starts up. So, let's go ahead and get caught up. We're not going to read the whole thing right now. We're going to read both of the comics incrementally throughout the course of this chapter, because they both take place basically tangentially to what happens in episode 5. But we'll do this as we go. So we're reading Night Springs, an Alan Wake story. Excerpts from Departure by Alan Wake. When Detective Frank Breaker retired from the NYPD, this probably got... I'm not sure if this got retconned or not, but... Or, like, I'm not sure if this was a retcon, like a part of a reality shift where originally he worked for the NYPD and then for the purposes of return, his backstory is retconned by Alan to be the FBC. Doesn't really matter. In Control, it says he used to be ex-FBI. No, FBC. Not FBI, FBC. So most likely it was just a reality shift caused by Alan for the purpose of return. Anyways. He bought himself an apple farm in Bright Falls. He was glad to return to his old home. His departure from the force had been the culmination of years of drama and conflict, a lot of bad blood, and accumulate in 22 years. But he'd been an apple farmer for a good long while before now. It suited his present temperament. Working outdoors with his hands made him feel worthwhile. In his previous life, he'd had a reputation as something of a wild man. He didn't mind giving it up. Still, idleness didn't come easily for him. He never thought of himself as a retiree. This was one reason why he was so eager to volunteer for what might have called a reservist position. Heh. Alright, so he's reading The Sudden Stop. Which, again, that book was published 2 years ago, so he's a little bit late on the uptake. But, anyways. Frank Breaker had always been a man who took his duty very seriously. It was true that now at 59 years old, he had mellowed down. The watch is going off, aka the phone. What the hell? Alright, I'm coming, asshole. Still, mellow was not a word anyone would be used to describe him. So it's implied that this text right here, or at least it's actually, I wouldn't say implied, it's stated that these are all excerpts from Departure. So these are things that happened in Departure that is not in the game. Here, these are things that Alan specifically wrote. The dialogue, who knows if that's actually directly written in Departure or if that's just incidentally what was being said. Alan wrote these sections. That's all I can confirm. This better be good. Hello, Mr. Breaker. This is Barry Wheeler. What the hell are you calling me this time of night for? Yeah, I know it's late, but listen, the Sheriff Sarah asked me to tell you something. This is literally the conversation Barry just had. She says, Night Springs, okay? So I guess Night Springs? Shit. Alright, well, tell Sarah that I'm on it, okay? I'm heading out the door right now. Yes, sir. Okay. Wait, why are you calling me? Is Sarah alright? She's not hurt or anything. No, she's just busy, so she asked me to. Yeah, okay, fine, but I've never heard of you, son. You from the Bureau or something? And this makes me want to go, Because, again, if he worked from the NYPD, why is he using the term Bureau? Let's keep in mind, though, this was published in 2010, and the entire idea behind the FBC did not start until 2012. But anyways, moving on. Nice painting in the back? Yeah. I noticed that painting, too. Oh, no, actually, I'm a literary agent, sir, but I'm just helping her out because she's busy right now. Literary agent? Who do you represent? Well, the one you'd most likely be familiar with is Alan Wake. Hey, I heard he was in town. Matter of fact, I was just reading The Sudden Stop when you called. You know what? He's the best thing that happens in fiction since James Ellroy. No lie. You're kidding. Well, I'm glad to hear that, sir. I'll tell Al you said that's really nice, but listen, I really need to make some more calls here. You got the message, right? Believe me, I got it. Night Springs? Yeah, that's right. Okay, thanks, sir. Bye now. Thanks for calling, son. God damn it. Okay, so he heads out, jumps in his truck, which the tailgate looks like it's pushed right through the siding. He's parked way too close. He probably broke his house. Alright, and here's where the comic officially starts. Story by Sam Link and Mikko Ratalati. I hope I'm saying that right. He wrote the script as well. And he immediately calls Kirkland. So anyone who's played Control knows that William Kirkland is the head of investigations at the Federal Bureau of Control, and someone that he used to work with. And we learn there's some more stuff going on with Kirkland we'll see in the AWE DLC once we get to that game. Hey, it's Frank Breaker up in Bright Falls. I'm good, but I think we got a situation here. Could be a false alarm, but the alert I got is the one that is one we only use when things get real goddamn serious. Yeah, right? That's why, that long? Shit, you sure you can't get anybody to? No, yeah, I understand. Well, I guess it'll be over one way or another by the time you guys get here. Yeah, thanks. See, this conversation makes it feel like he is talking about FBC shenanigans. Because you wouldn't call up, if Kirkland, at least in the pre-reality shift, when Frank was working for the NYPD, quote-unquote working for the NYPD, why would he call a random New York cop to come all the way across the country with no jurisdiction? It makes no sense. It implies that Frank was involved in something different while he was over there, and specifically things that are weird. So I think the original intention was him to be involved in weird stuff over there as well. It's just awkward because the dialogue at the top keeps saying, oh yeah, he worked for New York. So maybe, I don't know, he was an NYPD detective, but he collaborated with the FBC. That might be a way to reconcile that. Because let's be real, they have people like, for example, Marshall worked for the CIA back in the day, but she also collaborated with the Bureau. NASA collaborates with the Bureau, so you don't necessarily have to be a FBC employee to be read into the program, so to speak. Anyways, doesn't really matter. But that's just a way to reconcile the slight discrepancy, but it doesn't matter. This just keeps getting better. And here is Sarah's helicopter, so when they're flying away. So at this point in time, it sounds like the whole scene with Sarah, Barry, and Alan, they've already gotten the helicopter and they're flying away. Frank made it a point not to control Sarah's life. He knew his daughter could take care of herself as well as anybody. She was smart, she was tough and smart. It was her choice to be a cop. It was hard work that made her the sheriff of Bright Falls. She made him proud. But he couldn't help worrying. He was a father. He used to carry a badge. He'd seen his share of bad calls, more than most. There had been a lot of bad nights in New York. But it was only after a few years in Bright Falls that he started to understand how little he understood about the world he lived in. In Bright Falls, he'd seen a tree walk. He'd shot and killed a man with the head of a wolf. The body melted away into black goo, and that boiled away in sunlight. And once, years ago, a little after the funeral, something had the sweet scent of his wife laid beside him in the bedroom, breathing softly into his back of his neck. Insubstantial fingers tracing a line on his hip. He honestly couldn't tell if he was horrified or relieved. Okay, so we head through one of those tunnels. Ah, hell. And he gets attacked by birds, the ravens. Damn it. He pulls over. False alarm my ass. Life in Bright Falls could always be like that. Damn right he worried about her. Bright Falls natives tended to take the weirdness in stride, but there were those who were ready to step in an emergency just in case. Frank ended up leading them a few years after he returned from New York. His law enforcement experience came in handy, and anyway, he'd been here to clean up the mess with the Anderson brothers back in 1976. He'd proven himself, and that gives us confirmation again that Frank Breaker, we know what happened during that AWE in 1976. That's when the storm hit the Anderson farm, and the Anderson brothers had to fight off an army of Taken. That's also the year that the Scratching Hag album was released. Or the album that had the Scratching Hag song on For the Old Gods of Asgard was released in 76. They were good men. Frank was proud to have earned their respect. Hey, Frank. Pat, shit, everyone's here, huh? Yeah, Sarah got a call out here. I hear it's been pretty bad in town tonight. I don't know how we missed this building up. I mean, the signs were there. That whole thing at Elderwood, what happened to Rose. This goddamn place has got more signs than people. Don't beat yourself up over it, Pat. You know how these things work out. So we got Deputy Thornton, Deputy Mulligan, Deputy Grant, Deputy Janes, and this is the first and only time Janes actually appears in the franchise, and then Pat Maine. And it looks like there's a few people in the background we don't get names for them. So, what do we know? Well, I gotta tell you, it's not looking too hot, Frank. Lots of bad shit crawling out of the woodwork. So, let's just confirm here, even though Alan Wake 2 tries to pretend otherwise, these two fully know what's going on and have been involved for a long time. Oh yeah, Marama, Deputy James was on the radio, but we don't physically see him. This is the only time we actually get a face to the name. Face to the voice. Yeah, I figured, Mulligan. What kind? Not what we usually get. Mostly it seems to be these crazy assholes covered in shadows. I've never seen anything like them. Yeah, Frank, me neither. Shadow guys. Let me deal with this, Thornton. We ran into a couple of them. Real ugly customers. Yeah, I've never seen shadow guys before. I swear, Thornton. I'm agreeing with you. Fellas! Anyway, you can take them down with light, but they're pretty damn tough. Creepy bastards, too. They like to babble, just like Bonehead over here. Come on, Mulligan. Hey! Enough. Already, I got it. Anything else? Janes. Yeah, Frank. Let me see. Okay, so here we go. First of all, things seem to quiet down in town. Seems... Bleh, I'm sorry, my reading's horrible right now. Things seem to have gone quiet in the town now. But I got 2 reports of empty cars just starting themselves and trying to run people over. Come on. Yeah, I know what you mean, Mr. Breaker. I didn't take it seriously until the mailbox attacked me on the way here. Darn thing nearly split my head off. A mailbox attacked you? Yeah, I ducked mostly. Well, that's taking express delivery a little too far. That it? Really? He had to do... But up. A couple of people told me about a tornado. A tornado? Hey, I'm just reporting back what I heard, Mr. Breaker. Okay. Anybody got an idea where Sarah is? She's the one in the middle of this thing. We were just coming in, and she took off in the rescue helicopter. I think she had Wake with her. There's pretty serious firefight up there before that. Yeah, lots of shooting, but they made it. It looked like they were heading for the power plant. The power plant? Yeah, okay, they'll be going there for a reason, so it's safe to assume whatever's going down, that's the place to be. I'm gonna head over there and see if I can help. It'll be Cynthia's place they're heading for, Frank. Pat, see, he's the smart one. He's piecing it together. Pat's the G. Pat, you take the radio station and make sure it stays on the air. If we gotta evacuate, you're gonna have to coordinate that, okay? Got it. Grant, Janes, you make sure everything's okay in the town. Quiet or not, I want some good eyes down there, and a couple of visible uniforms ought to keep people calm. Milligan, Thornton, you boys check out Hartman's place. I'll bet that shifty son of a bitch is involved in this somehow. Find out what you can. You got it, Mr. Breaker. Leave it to us, Frank. The rest of you should spread out and keep an eye around Bright Falls, okay? Stay in contact. And the rest of them, that's just random people. We don't know who they are. Stay in contact, step in if people need help, knock some heads if you gotta. But don't you get stupid. We all know this is gonna a whole nother level, right? Don't get hurt. Sure, Frank. Okay. I'll be at the power plant. Oh, one more thing. I'm not gonna pretend I'm not going there out of concern for Sarah. If anybody thinks I should be doing something else, you damn well better tell me. Family comes first, Frank. We're good. You gotta do what you gotta do. The sheriff takes care of us every day, Mr. Breaker. No one's going to have a problem with you backing her up. Alright, so we're going to pause here and head back into the game, and we'll continue on more of it later. Boom! Alright, let's check that off. Alright, there's some other details real quick before we get going. Again, we haven't played a lot of the game yet, but there's a lot of random crap. I'm going to stay away from here so that we can try to avoid some of Barry's dialogue. Anyway, so in the novel, and again, the novelization is not really canon to the strictest sense of the word, but there are instances where there's little details that I kind of enjoy, so we go ahead and at least discuss them. So when Sarah was a child, she had a little rhyme that she used to sing about Cynthia. Oh, hi there, we're talking about you, Sarah. What's up? And she would sing, Weaver, Weaver, loony believer, scared that the dark is gonna eat her. And Frank didn't like that. He would scold her anytime he caught her doing that, and impressed upon Sarah here that Cynthia is the only one paying attention in this town, and that she's trying to warn everybody, and that it's everyone else's fault if they don't believe what she says. And it's also confirmed that on occasion, Frank would go and have coffee and dinner with Cynthia just to share stories and also get intel from her. Because Frank kind of trusts what that lady says. There's also a line in the novelization about Frank teaching Sarah, quote, he taught her this about police work. Half of law enforcement is knowing when to apply the law and when to apply common sense. Alright. So, quick question. I don't remember. You guys will have to remind me. Did we already start reading the nonfiction section regarding the Bigfoot? Because I honestly do not recall. I have a note here to start reading the Bigfoot section, but I could could have sworn we already did that. No. Okay. Maybe I'm absolutely insane. So if that's the case, pause. And we're going to head on over. Alright, Alan Wake files. So, one thing that Clay Stewart uncovered when he went to the Majestic Hotel and found all of Agent Nightingale's effects is he found a copy of Bright Falls, a history of Bright Falls, essentially. And we're going to read some sections of that. You think I mentioned it? Yeah, like, I don't recall if I actually did or not. Maybe it's because I was literally writing about it this morning. Because I started scripting the Alan Wake episode a couple days ago. And I just started writing about that this morning. Let me see. Come on. We got to get to the nonfiction section. Okay, and I've already did this for those watching these episodes back to back. I apologize, but we're just going to read one of these entries now, and then we'll do more as we continue. The following chapter and essay were part of Agent Nightingale's dossier. It appears that while his recent visit to Bright Falls was the first time he'd actually set foot there, in fact, he had been investigating the small town for some time. Whether it was persistent and reoccurring dreams that led him to the town, as they did for myself, or whether his research was part of some formal investigation by the FBI, I have only hints and supposition. The dossier itself is equally puzzling. One can only surmise the Nightingale's rationale for including an account of the treatment options at Bright Falls Clinic specializing in the care of artists and litany of bizarre local events dating back more than 100 years. Oh, yeah, I read this portion because we did the Creator's Dilemma, but we never read past that. That's what it was. Okay. So let's skip back the Creator's Dilemma and then get into here. So this is the part that we're going to read. So Bright Falls, a History. So the following article is taken from a larger work, Bright Falls, a History, edited by Conrad Breaker. Again, another member of the Breaker family. We don't know anything past that. Copies of the book can be easily located at the town's library or bookstore, but this chapter was found among Agent Nightingale's effects, cut from the book with a razor. When contrasting the contents of this chapter to the rest of the fairly benign book, it's easy to see why it appealed to Nightingale. So, A History of Oddities in Bright Falls by James Alford. For residents of Bright Falls, a sleepy town of only a few hundred, strange events that may seem like aberration in most communities of its size have become commonplace. Research into multiple Pacific Northwest news archives have revealed the area has actually been something of a hotbed of tall tales and paranormal rumors since at least the 1850s. Some stories predate official statehood for Washington, when Bright Falls was a mountain community of native tribes mingled with the white American fur trappers and hunters who had ventured west into the Washington territory. Yeah, okay, so thank you, Moran. We scrolled past it, and you said you'd get back to it at a later time. Well, we're getting back to it now. So we are going to read one of these articles, and we will read more as we go. Bigfoot, of course. One furry creature that was never successfully trapped is the Sasquatch, the Lummi tribal name for Bigfoot. Now, a little bit of research I did is the Lummi tribe has another name, the Laktamish. And the Laktamish, when roughly translates as the people of the sea, which is perfect for a remedy name. But anyways, moving on. Reports of sightings, alleged foot tracks, and an abundance of unexplained sounds abound in the forested area near Cauldron Lake. Lummi tribal legends include stories of a large ape-like creature that go back several centuries. And printed accounts date back to the first days of journalism in the Northwest. One such early account involves Mountain Mike Callahan, a native of Missouri who had been trapping in the Oregon and Washington territories for decades. Considered a stable, unflappable man who had seen everything in the woods, he presented himself to his acquaintances as a true adopted son of the forest, clad in buckskin with his trademark beaver fur hat. In 1857, however, Callahan had been camping on the shores of Cauldron Lake when locals reported a bizarre animal bellowing sound echoing from across the lake, followed by a sustained human screaming. So this would be something happened around where his campsite was, and Callahan freaked the hell out. Bright Falls residents spoke of seeing Callahan dressed only in his red flannel union suit, running barefoot through the town, his wild with fright. Now remember, at this point in time in Bright Falls history, because the Bright Falls Mining Company had not yet been formed, that was in the 1880s, and that's when Bright Falls got its name and it officially became like a settlement. Now, the town they're talking about is there was an old trading post in this region before Bright Falls was officially a town. So they're talking about the quote-unquote unincorporated town that is this essentially this trading post. But let's continue on. Callahan was found 2 miles outside of town the next day, eyes wide open, shivering, his former dark brown mane of hair now completely white. Callahan never spoke again, so it is impossible to know for certain what he saw and heard. He died 9 months later in the Olympia Asylum for the Afflicted. Now, this is the first and only reference we have to this insane asylum in the region. We don't know where it's at, if it's in a nearby town, if it's in the state somewhere, if it's in a nearby state. No idea. It's just we know that in the RCU we have an official nut house. The Bright Falls residents, however, formed the opinion that the incident must have involved an up-close encounter with the Sasquatch. Modern-day sightings of Bigfoot-like creatures are numerous, particularly in the mountainous areas of Washington state. An internet database of reported sightings by state, for example, lists the number for California in the 20s and similar results for the state of Oregon. Washington, however, lists more than 700. A great number of the auditory sightings, strange sounds that are not from any known human or animal source, have occurred in the vicinity of Cauldron Lake. So we don't know exactly what happened to Callahan here, but it was enough to turn his hair white. He ended up in a nut house and died 9 months later. And we will talk more about some of these Asylum for the Afflicted when we get to Control. Because there are, I believe, the lady who found the Victorian mirror ended up in a afflicted home as well. But anyways, let's head on back. Alright, we can now officially start playing. We're like 45 minutes in. Let's officially start playing the game.
No, wait.
For about 10 minutes, and then we're going to immediately stop again.
With the sheriff.
That lady does not want to let Barry speak.
Oh, hell. Whatever took Nightingale must have broken the gate controls. We can't reach the gate's control box from here. We need to get to the other side over the rooftop.
I'll go. I'll open the gate for you once I'm across. You stay here in the light and cover me, Sheriff, okay?
Are you sure? Okay then, but hurry.
Okay, let's do this. Alright, so in the survival guide, they refer to these dark spots here. And we talked about a little bit of this when we're back at the lodge, where stepping inside of them causes the individual to start hallucinating, and it's all unique to the individual, but it's intended to make them stop and not move. Just stay there, you know, and for Alice, like he heard Alice's voice saying, no, please, here, just stay with me, right? Well, in the survival guide, they refer to these dark spots as dark matter, which may be relevant once we start looking at the information found in Quantum Break, when they refer to dark matter being made up, like, it was like 95% of the known universe is made up of dark matter and dark energy, or like 99%, something like that. Okay, I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything in here. Alright, you guys remembered earlier when I pointed out this building right here next to the sheriff's department that was owned by the Wahlberg. Old Man Wahlberg. Well, now we know why it's relevant. Okay, so when we were talking about how the town got shifted around, so here's the sheriff's station right here. Here is the Oh Dear Diner. Now remember, in Alan Wake 2, when you followed Alex Casey and Sheriff Tim Breaker, you left through the doors, went down this pathway, and went up the street. So this building, geographically speaking, is where the sheriff's station is at in Alan Wake 2. And this is the, I believe it's some, fuck, I'm trying to remember. It's a museum. So this was a museum. It was originally a location that we were going to be able to play inside of, and they ended up putting it on the cutting room floor. They never allowed us to get to it. But that's where the sheriff's station is at in the sequel, and it's here in this game. So again, reality shift event caused the town to kind of just switch around a little bit, and that will become relevant when we get to the sequel. Ah! Ow. Oh, and the reason I mentioned this building is belonging to Old Man Wahlberg is because it sets up why there's a scaffold sitting right behind us. Let me get these ravens and then we'll continue on. Oh my gosh, go away! Come on. Come on. There we go. So, Mr. Wahlberg is actually refacing the brick on the front of his building, and that's why he has these construction scaffolding set up right here. And that was written in literally just to give Alan an excuse to have a pathway to get down here. Because, you know, we can't have plot holes like that.
Hey, Sheriff! Your password. Night Springs? What's that all about?
It's a stupid joke we have. That Bright Falls is the original inspiration for the TV show. This town can get weird at times. Never this weird, though. You need to bypass the damaged control box.
What am I, an electrician? Hold on!
Do you think the Dark Presence makes the night last longer? I don't see any evidence for it. It's feasible, Trailblazer, but I don't see any direct evidence for it in-game, unless there's something I'm missing. If something pops up, feel free to point it out to me.
Ow, damn! That's smart.
Good job, Wade. Okay, stick close. Our first stop is the town hall. The keys to the chopper are there.
So weirdly enough, one of the Taken that we fight right here is a named character, at least in the novelization. And we will talk about that shortly. As soon as I get to safety. Come on, get rid of this so he doesn't try to attack us. Beautiful. Stop it. And now we have an amazing partner character. That's actually useful. Why does it feel like my batteries are going crazy, like running out of power faster than normal? You got this one, Sarah. Thank you. I'm going to save my ammo. And let me get my ammo back. Alright, so according to the novelization, one of the Taken we just took down was a repairman by the name of Tom Egan. E-A-G-E-N. Now, the reason I find that interesting is because Jimmy Egan is the daytime radio host at KBFM, and the reason why Pat had to work the day shift in the previous episode was solely because Jimmy Egan went missing, and now Tom Egan has gone missing. So it looks like, I presume they're brothers or related in some way. Either way, that sucks. And the survival guide also confirms that a lot of the buildings here are Victorian design and over a century old. Flarouche, I presume brother, but again, there's no evidence for exactly what the relation is between Tom and Jimmy. Oh, Jesus! Where did you come from, you little shit? Get out of here. Oh, I hate you guys. You guys are being freaking dildos. Stay away from me. Conserve the ammo. Is Alan in any way Canadian or mid-north? No, he was born and raised in New York. Oh, because he says that's smart? Is that more of a mid... Yeah, so that might be... I don't know where that expression originates from.
The chopper's in the other direction.
I'm aware of that, but Sarah, let's have a conversation, Sarah. There's a thing called collectibles, and you need to learn that. I'm gonna teach you the ways of the collectibles. Well, let's not go that way. Oh, and in addition, this right here would be the location of the lodge in Alan Wake 2. It'd be like, I think, one of these two buildings. Which, obviously, that's not here. And hello there, we found ourselves a hidden cache. Beautiful. And you guys know what that means? We have to pause and go look at our cache lore. Let's go. Alright, so the hidden cache lore for this one is going to be on page 173. Beauty is not in the face. Beauty is a light in the heart. Khalil Gibran, the Lebanese-American writer, artist, and poet, knows the ultimate solution to our problems. Heed his advice, and this crate below the pallet I've signed on the broken pier, far end of Harbor Street. Hey, what's up, Zachary? How are you doing? Let's head on in. Yeah, and personally, I like a lot of my diction phrasing I pick up through reading a lot. So if you read literature written by someone who's not in your territory, you'll pick up on phrases and expressions and colloquialisms. Like, no joke, I've started using some of Ati's colloquials just for the fun of it, because it makes people go, what? Thermos. Let's go ahead and do some thermos lore. Fishermen frequent the wharf. Close to the information kiosk where we found the thermos, the workers on the Captain Oscars haven't owned up to it. But they also tell me they've been seeing their crew disappear. No bodies, but plenty of alcohol to fuel these wild stories. So we did see the Captain Oscar when we first came into Bright Falls, because this is where the ferry landed. And it's a fishing vessel, and over the last, I want to say, week or so, they've been having some of their people just disappear off the ship on their way back into port. And most likely, some of the Taken we see in this area are the final members of the Captain Oscar. You watch a lot of British content creators, so your vocabulary is like 65% British. You know what? Fair. But yeah, that's the Captain Oscar, and they drop off their collection right here at the seafood market for fish and shrimp. Hey, don't you do that. You thought you were being clever, didn't you? Okay, we're good. Okay, I think... Hold on. Yeah, sorry, I was missing something. I was like, I could have sworn I can get through here. But yeah, we have another hidden cache over here.
The air smelled of fish. This was Bright Falls industrial area. There was probably a cannery nearby.
The Cap and Oscar. Oh, jeez, where did you come from, you little freaking pendejo? Whew. Way too many of you guys. You know what? This is what I'm going to do, is I'm going to do that, and then do that. Boom! Get out of here, son! Oh, you're still alive? Fine then, get out of here. But isn't that true about English as a language in general? Is because we were so big in the trade back in the day, we picked up language and words from every culture and every language out there and just incorporated it into us. We're like the Borg. Resistance is futile. Hold on, give me some more of those. Yes, flare gun, all of the flare guns. But then again, that's true about any language. Like, I know Japanese incorporates a lot of American words, or English words as well. And specifically, if you read the writing, you can tell between a native word versus a adopted word, because they start using katakana instead of kanji when they're referencing it. And that becomes relevant because I was actually just playing through Max Payne 3 again to start taking my notes on that game. And one of the restaurants at the beginning of it was named Sindri, the Sindri restaurant, which is weird for a Japanese restaurant, but they have the katakana for Shindori, which is as close as you can get to saying Sindri using Japanese characters. Ooh, give me a bigger flashlight, yes. Don't worry, you guys will get... Once I finish up, we'll get to the Max Payne 3 stuff. See, I'm trying to find if there is anything worthwhile in it.
I'm gonna want explanations, you know. For example, what the hell happened to Rose? She's seriously messed up now.
The same thing I think happened to me after I arrived.
During this week, you can't remember?
Oh, I remember now.
Hold on, we gotta do this, we gotta do this. This is one's for you, Odin. I dedicate this to you. Yeah, Max Payne 3 is made completely by Rockstar. I think some of Remedy had something to do with the tie-in comic books. Like, at least they looked it over and said, yeah, sure, good enough. But there's really not, as far as I can tell, not much in it.
Barry was in his element, making calls, making things happen, even if he didn't entirely know what those things were. He wouldn't let the hot sheriff chick down. Even if every noise he heard from outside, and he heard plenty, made him jump. He had only paused to text Al a message, told him to hurry up. Suddenly, Barry froze in mid-dial. A window broke somewhere in the building, and then the lights went out.
That being said, though, so this is just foreshadowing, letting us know what's happening tangential to us right now. But that being said, there is evidence I've seen that in Max Payne 3, there is a literal guardian angel following Max around that is trying to redeem him and help him out. And there's also evidence to tie into other Rockstar games where they're setting up like the Rockstar multiverse. which is kind of wild, and I'm learning stuff about Red Dead Redemption and the Warriors and other stuff like that. But anyways, boom. Let's go ahead and do some coffee thermos lore. Alright, so thermos is going to be on page 174. I agree, Emin Land Max Payne 3 really isn't a Remedy game, but I'm still playing through it just to see if there's anything I can find, because I do have a rationalization on how it could make sense. And if you watch my simulation conspiracy video, which I have up on the channel, it's a full edited theory about the Max Payne universe, I'll touch upon it briefly. Anyways, Cheryl Johnson had taken over Marigold's shift at the diner when she told me about another thermos. This one planted in the serving area in the middle of the ground. They're all pretty shook up about Rose's nervous breakdown. Doc Nelson being evasive with the diagnosis. Not my problem. Now remember, Doc Nelson did mention that he had seen people in Rose's state probably decades ago. So most likely in like the 1980s he came across individuals who were touched by the dark presence, and that's why he's being evasive here. Also, Cheryl Johnson is most likely supposed to be an echo of Sherry from Twin Peaks. Is my presumption. Also, a lot of the photographs in the diner were taken by Cheryl. She's kind of a shutterbug. Alright, we're done. Let's head out. You don't get the people that don't like Max Payne 3 that says you're not... Dude, it's not Remedy scenes, but the airport scenes are freaking cool. Well, like, you can say you enjoy the game, but also acknowledge it is not really Remedy at the same time. Enjoyment of a game versus, admitting something about how it connects are two completely different things. Alright, let's head through. And hopefully we don't get soft-locked here, because I've had a few times where Sarah gets stuck in this doorway, and she didn't do it! Because literally, I had a few times where she got stuck there, and when I walked around, she would be trying to, like, walk through this this shipping truck. You got this, lady. Go on. I believe in you.
And I thought New Yorkers were rude.
When it comes to trying to do the Remedy Connected Universe, you have to acknowledge it really doesn't fit. Get out of here. I don't want to deal with you right now. Come on. Come on. Bro, come on, I'm right here. And there's my backup. Actually, she's kind of the protag of this episode, so you deal with her. Got anything up there? Nope, we're maxed out. Alright, let's go, lady. Ruh-roh, that is not good. Oh, actually, let's see. Where's the diner? The diner's right there. Here's a cool little detail. Is right across the street, there is a deli and grocery that is Weaver's Deli and Grocery. Now, maybe some of Cynthia's family owns this, but we know she literally has nothing to do with that. As far as I'm aware, she's not running a deli in her free time. And yes, there is red light in the window. Where the electronics are. And we have more of Mott's shenanigans. Canned pyramid, so let's go ahead and switch on over. Alrighty, so where was this? Canned pyramid on page 175. You won't see these cans. I carefully stacked them on the roof of the hot dog trailer near the Gunderson's Auto Supplies on Harbor Street. Emil wasn't happy. He says Wake won't even be on Harbor Street until after the parade, if he makes it there at all. So Hartman obviously doesn't know he doesn't know as much as he thinks he is. He thinks it's going to be after the parade. Well, I'm sorry, we never even make it to the parade. That's besides the point.
Wake, over here! There's light!
Not yet. Yeah, imagine if Sarah's just thinking to herself, this dude is literally on drugs. What is he doing? He's talking about collectibles, and he's running around shooting cans during a literal apocalypse situation. What the crap? Coffee thermos, meaning we got some more coffee lore. Let's head on over. Alright, I braved the sights and smells of a chemical toilet today, near the dump truck toward the end of Harbor Street. Another coffee thermos, same as all the others. The field office is getting full of them. Now, we need more baggies too. Still waiting for Cooper and Torrance to let me know what their out-of-the-box thinking is telling us. Wait, so first we got a Cooper, now we have a Torrance. Hello, Danny. Twin Peaks and The Shining references going on here. Now, we do have a Torrance who does the skywriting in Bright Falls, where he flies the plane and carries the banner and stuff like that. Yeah, either Jack or Danny Torrance, whichever you want to interpret it, but it's a Torrance and a Cooper. I'm actually reading The Shining right now, Wimby. I've never read it. I love the film, I've just never actually sat down and read it, but I am working on it as we speak. I just finished up Simulacrum 3. I'm currently working on a book called The Magi, which is by, I think it's John Fowles? Actually, I have it right in front of me. Yeah, John Fowles. And it is referenced in This House of Dreams. We'll talk about that when we get there. So I literally got the book to read it just because one line of dialogue was quoted by Thomas Zane in This House of Dreams.
Watch my back, Wade.
And I'm also reading The Shining at the same time as The Magus. Stop, you three. Just make sure we got no one else. Okay, good. Double shotguns. Ruh-roh, hello there, big boy. How are you doing? Hey, stop it. And this is why we... Oh, wow. That did not take him down. I was hoping that would take him down, but I guess not. Probably should wait before picking up the handgun ammo. Because I was only down like 2 shots. But whatever. Yes, the book Shining is very different from the film. Actually,
Let's go, Wake.
I was having dinner with my sister, I want to say a couple months back. I think it was for someone's birthday. But she was going off on the whole tirade about how Stephen King hated the film because it really... It didn't have the same tone as the book at all. And how she expressed it is in the film, they made Jack Torrance kind of just like an angry drunk, and he was just a violent individual inherently. In the book, he was a victim of the place. where he had kind of not overcome it, but he's constantly struggling with it. He never acts upon anything, and the hotel forces it out of him to the point where it completely destroys him. And it's a subtextual difference, whether he's a bad man or he's a good man who struggles with other things. Anyways, thermos time. Let's do this. Alright, next up. One cheap plastic table, one cheap plastic thermos, close to the rusty grill behind the auto shop, close to Town Hall. Townsfolk seem generally clueless when I ask them about the thermoses. The diner's owners are on an extended vacation. Hold on, let me move this cup over here. Do I really need to contact do I really need to contact Interpol about this? Come on, Torrance, where's the info? Yeah, that's a good way to put it. The book is from the perspective of Jack, while the film is from the perspective of Danny. That's a good way to put it, yeah. It's basically Danny's perception of his dad. Okay, sorry, I gotta start crossing stuff up, because I got you, and you. Alright. Now let me see. I'm trying to get the lay of the land real quick. So the diner's right there. So this building... Oh, no. This isn't the museum. This is Town Hall. Okay, so where Town Hall is now is where the sheriff's station is located at in Alan Wake 2. Which makes no sense.
Okay, someone's messed with the fuse box here, but you should be able to jury-rig it while I find the keys.
I already got electrocuted once today. How about I look for the keys and you get burned for a change?
Fine. They should be in the clerk's office on the other side of the building, near the main entrance.
Gotcha.
Okay. You have fun. Alright, let's head upstairs first to the Hall of Records.
Upstairs, Wake.
I'm just gonna take a quick look.
Sarah, we talked about this. Collectibles. I'm loot hunting. Loot goblin. One of these days, she's gonna get on board with this. Alright, you guys ready for our TV show? Let's get the boob tube turned on.
Freedom. A fusion of vigilance, conscience, and uncompromising clarity of vision. A need so fundamental, it permeates our very being. And yet, a man may be brought to his knees in a single heartbeat. In Night Springs. Tonight's episode, taken in his prime. For young Manny, the night hasn't been kind. He's a marked man, selected for a lifetime of servitude after answering an ad in the newspaper. But first, a little field surgery is required.
Well, look what I found.
Please, no!
Yeah, I think you're just about ready for it.
Best if you don't resist this, kid. You gotta beat it out of you.
What? I don't understand. What did I do? I just wanted to get a job in the service industry. Wow, you're gonna serve all right. No! Please!
There it is. It's coming out now. Right between...
Get your hand out of my pants. Oh wait, no, sorry, that was my shirt.
What are you doing to me? Let's square it. There, I got it. Believe me, kid, this free will thing is more trouble than it's worth.
What was that? Oh, nothing for you to worry about, Manny.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
We'll tell you all about that. Don't you worry.
Another vacant worker ant, birthed in fury and violence for the pleasure and convenience of ruthless and malicious men. Stranger things can happen in Night Springs.
So the obvious echo here is Taken. What happens when you become Taken. But it could also imply something about the Blessed Organization, maybe? We don't know how they operate, but it's definitely a cult. So something similar could happen, but again, there's zero evidence for that. Or something else. Who knows? But I think the obvious connection is Taken. You know what, EMD, if we can have the... Yeah, exactly. The next game is just from the POV of Barry taking down a cult, I'd be down for that. Okay, let's go ahead and load up on our flare guns. Which means we have some more hidden cache lore. Actually, did we miss the last hidden cache? I don't think I read it. Hold on, let's head back over. I think I read the first one, but I didn't read the second one. Let me see, what are we on? Page 175 and 173. Yeah, I think I missed it. Yeah, because we read Beauty is Not the Face. We read the quote from Khalil Gibran. Yeah, we didn't read this. Okay, so we got two of them. The American poet Howard Nemerov once wrote, "Nothing in the universe can travel at the speed of light. They say, forgetful of the shadow's speed. Find help to hasten your progress at the top of the cannery building steps." Alright, so now let's work on the one we just picked up, which is on page 176. "Sunshine is my quest," Winston Churchill once said. "You share goals just as I share this prize tucked away in the rafters of the town hall's attic." Okay. Boom and boom. Let's head on back downstairs. Okay, so we got our podium here for the Bright Falls. Boom.
The darkness that wore Barbara Jagger's face was furious. The story in the manuscript had been making it stronger all the time, but now the light had set the writer free and hurt it, weakened it. It was only a matter of days before the dark presence would be strong again. But meanwhile, it would be difficult to recapture the writer.
Kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. And that's partially why Alan's relatively safe right now, but there's another manuscript somewhere. I don't know if we've already gotten it yet or not. That just says that the Dark Presence is bound to the story just as much as everybody else, and that's why it can't just go off script and grab Alan out of nowhere, because then it's contradicting the plot.
The message was from Barry. He was getting worried at the station. He wanted us to hurry.
Ruh-roh. You know what? I don't want to deal with you. That was an awesome jump. I must give it to you. If you stream the entire Resident Evil franchise on your channel, would you help you making a video doing the evolution of the viruses? I'll be honest, Draco, I don't know anything about Resident Evil lore other than the basics. Just being 100% honest, so I don't know how much help I could be other than with how to work the software. Is this the mayor? Hey, it's the mayor's office. And he has a nice, good rifle in here. Let's go ahead and switch over. So, I know we love Mayor Setter, but at this point in time, it's actually Mayor Biltmore. One of the founding members, or one of the two founders of Bright Falls, his descendant, is the current mayor. And it is said that during this current incident, he went missing during the 2010 AWE and was never seen again. So that's why there's a vacancy for mayor in town. And we got some more thermoses, so let's go ahead and do some more lore. Found in one of the mayor's office. Sorry, found one in the mayor's office, in the adjacent kitchenette. Almost walked right by it. Someone was in a hurry, didn't bother to open the door before charging right through it. No sign of the mayor, no sign of Hartman, no sign of Mott. I mean, these guys didn't just blink out of existence, did they? And now that I think about it, this is the room that Taken just came out of, so maybe the guy we just killed was Mayor Biltmore. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. That'd be kind of depressing. Dude, whoever this office clerk is, they are stocked and locked and loaded. Jesus.
Okay, Sheriff, I got the keys.
Barry?
Why isn't he inside?
Oh God! Oh God!
Barry! Look out! Barry, move!
Ah!
Barry!
He made it inside, Wake. He's okay. The storefront's blocked. Come on, Wake. Let's go around. We can meet him in the back.
Alright, let's do this. Alrighties. It is not recorded when Bright Falls was first formed as a nameless trading post. And again, at that point in time when Mike Callahan, and Mountain Mike, the guy who ran into Sasquatch, it was a random trading post at that point in time. But it became a town when Bright Falls Mining Company started to operate nearby in 1878. It was then that Hubert Biltmore, a fur trapper, and Amos Gunderson, a pioneer from Tacoma, decided to build a post office, saloon, and a hotel, all operating out of the same building. And they did that because they were giving accommodations to the miners at the time, and boom. And later, during operation is when the train station was officially where they finally ran the train tracks through it. This was probably decades later, and that's what really brought in the commerce. But anyways, it was through the efforts of these two men that Bright Falls became the permanent and thriving town it is today. Okay, let me just make a note here real quick. Sorry, as I said, I'm scripting the Alan Wake video right now. History, where's the history of Bright Falls section? And I just want to make a note for myself here. That the trading post and timeline of the town was on the statue before the church. Okay. Sorry, I'm just making editor's notes right there so that when Bat needs to go look up for video assets, he knows exactly where things are at. Hello there. Okay, we're good. And bookstore, yay.
We can make it through the bookstore.
Hey,
Wheeler should be waiting for us in the backyard.
Keep it the hell down or I'll call the sheriff.
Oh, hi, Doc. I've got it. Don't worry about it.
Sarah, about time somebody showed up. All this shooting in the air is idiotic. One of these days they'll kill somebody. And over Deerfest.
I know. Go back to bed. He's got a point, Wake. Look, this town can't take this.
Okay, maybe this is just me being a total nerd, but if I lived right next to a bookstore, I would be in high heaven. Dear, dear Lord. Neapolitan Ordinaries in Maine. Alright, we got a thermos, so let's do some thermos lore. And this is on page 178. There we go. They still have local bookshops? Wow. Haven't been in one since forever. Nice atmosphere, if a little musty. Found one in the shop window near the potted plant. They're Alan Wake mad all around here. Got a text from Torrance over in Portland. So I think Cooper is in Seattle and now Torrance is in Portland. It read, must switch him off soon. You got a text message from Torrance saying, must switch him off soon. What the hell does that mean? Things are just getting weirder and weirder for our poor Thermos man. Yeah, no idea, Forest Leafs. Featured book of the month is The Sudden Stop. And this went up probably as soon as Alan showed up, so they can start making some sales. Alright, so in the survival guide, it's noted that this place is stocked mostly with crime, adventure, and nature books. But there's some self-help stuff like The Creator's Dilemma that Dr. Hartman wrote, and even, weirdly enough, and the survival guide makes a big reference to this, video game hint books. So there's strategy guides for video games in this bookstore for some reason. Sure. Anyways, let's head upstairs. We got Conspiracy of Faith there. Actually, is there anything up here? I don't even know if there is actually anything up here. So some of the books they have into here that were not already in Alan's thing is stuff called Cooking with Corn, 72 Tasty Recipes, Real Big Money, Double Click, Curse of Indulgence, and Bob the Bear Goes Shopping. Children's books, anyways. Let's head on down. Oh, Black Lace, White Lies. Now that sounds stimulating. Alex Casey books by Alan Wake, modern master of crime fiction. Alex Casey, What I Can't Forget, Return to Sender, The Things That I Want, The Fall of Casey, and The Sudden Stop. All in stock for $20 a book or $100 for the full set. Mr. Wake is in town, see if you can get them autographed. I mean, it's a good way to advertise it. I'd buy a few copies just to resell them later, but that's just me.
They're really taking advantage of your presence here, Wake. I heard they're selling a lot of your Alex Casey books.
Right now, I'm not a big fan of my own writing.
No, EMD. I seriously doubt they're selling Max Heat books in here. This is a family store.
Cynthia Weaver worked hard, following her obsessive rituals, sometimes fighting them, always giving in to them in the end. She haunted the halls of Bright Falls' abandoned power plant. She marked her caches with light-sensitive paint that could only be seen by eyes that had been touched by darkness and saved by light like she'd been. She was preparing defenses and supply lines for the war she knew would come. The war between the forces of light and darkness.
Poor lady. Poor lady. Alright, so before we head out of here, we have an advertisement to read. So let's head on out real quick. It's a nice spot to just pause and do some reading anyways. Oh, sorry. Pause, switch, and click over. Alrighty, so we are looking for page 179. So we got a little Bright Falls bookshop. Alright, well, you voted in your dozens, and following 6 books have been the most popular purchased in the month of August, and are therefore recommended to rent or buy. Remember, reading is fundamental. The Sudden Stop, number 1. Join Alex Casey, the hard-boiled detective, as he's forced to make the most difficult decisions of his career. Nail-biting thrillers don't come much more addictive than this. Number 2 is Alan Wake, Literary Lone Wolf. Chris McGurk. So, you guys remember Chris McGurk worked for the New York Tattler, and he is probably the reason why Alan decided to kill off Alex Casey and move on to other ventures, because he kept writing a lot of tabloid and negative reviews. He's the critic. The New York Tattler and Too Much Information Magazine The New York Tattler and Too Much Information Magazine hack reveals the darker side of Alan Wake and his wife, Alice. Salacious, shocking, and possibly libelous. Personally, wouldn't it be funny if this book actually was the seed that grew into what American Nightmare's Mr. Scratch ended up becoming? So if Chris wrote about the darker side of Alan Wake, and then these ideas ended up getting pumped into the public consciousness, and that's what ended up creating Scratch, Chris is the origin of all of that. Now that's a little bit of a jump, but that would be actually kind of funny. Negative book. And the book club caused Scratch. But I thought American Nightmare's non-canon. No, Jojo, it's 100% canon. It's 100% canon. We'll talk about that when we get there, but yeah. I actually do have a video on the channel called American Nightmare is Canon. Anyways, so number 3 is What a Hoot, Midnight Musings from the Night Owl, Volume 1. So Bright Fall's own nighttime disc jockey waxes both lyrical and hysterical in this part autobiography and part transcripts from his nightly radio show spanning more than 40 years. Then we have number 4, The Night Springs Official Survival Guide, which is literally, this is Inception, I guess? So Night Springs, I guess, is the in-universe variant of Alan Wake. Regardless. The popular video game Night Springs receives its official strategy guide, although why anyone wouldn't just go online for this information is beyond me. Still, it has all the information you need. Next up is The Creator's Dilemma, which we already know what's going on here. Appealing to mass audience and promising creative growth and renewal, this self-help book has vaguely cosmic theories relating to the power of artists. Read at your own peril. Tumbledown Barns of the Pacific Northwest by Leland Brennan. Our local reporter catalogs over 300 dangerously unstable barns, outhouses, water closets, and cabins. Time waits for no shed. Now, there's 2 of them that ended up in this book. One was the Andersons' barn, and the other one was a location right above the coal mine. But that will be that. And while we are here, let's switch back over to the Alan Wake files. And we are ready to read the next one. We're skipping past The Dark Cloud for now. And we're going to read The Feathered Serpent. But that'll be in 2 seconds because I need to remake some more tea because my throat's getting a little sore. I'll be right back once I get something hot to drink. And we are back. Just gotta let my tea steep real quick. And then I can start working on that. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and read all about the Feathered Serpent. Other accounts of a lake creature are demonstrably inaccurate. For a few years around 1978 to 79, it was referred to as Quetzalcoatl, or the Feathered Serpent of ancient Aztec legend. Now, I believe that the Andersons had a second AWE. There's one in 76 and one in 78, so I'm not sure if this was actually related to something the Andersons were doing, in which case it wasn't Quetzalcoatl, but maybe a different serpent from more like Nordic backgrounds. But anyways, moving on. Local native tribes made a public protest of this ignorance. Chilliquitaqua, I hope I'm saying that right. The Chilliquitaqua chief Thomas Deerchaser was quoted as saying, "Not only is that a Southwest and Mexican thing, but the Quetzalcoatl isn't even a monster. It's an Aztec deity. It's a sky god. It's not supposed to be some scary thing. We got plenty of scary stuff to talk about up here in the Northwest without resorting to that. Some people are just plain ignorant." When asked to elaborate on the scariest stuff that is more local, Chief Deerchaser referred to the Sasquatch, the flying snakes, and the spirit-touched state young men went into as part of a life passage. "But we really don't believe in any of that, except the last one," he says. "Rites of passage are scary enough. Ghost stories and monster stories are just for entertainment." He further notes that if you want stories about sea creatures, you should talk to the Quinault tribe, down by the coast of the Tahola. They're full of that stuff. But if you want dark creatures from the lake, I've got nothing. Alright. So this isn't in the Alan Wake files, but I have another little legend to tell you guys directly related to the Quinault tribe that Chief Deerchaser just mentioned. So I was doing some research, and I actually purchased a book on Salish folktales. And there's a really interesting creation, or chapter in the creation story according to Quinault legend, that I really wanted to bring up in relation to Alan Wake. So, after the great creator deity formed the universe, there was a second entity by the name of Misp, M-I-S-P. And Misp came in and took the creator deity's universe and made a few changes. The mountains and the rivers and the animals and the plants that we see now aren't the original form of any of this stuff. Misp, given the title of the Transformer, decided to change the creation, and that's the world we're living in now. And that is very, very relevant to the Remedy Connected Universe as a whole. Now, again, that's not referenced at all in any in-game source. That's just me doing extracurricular research. Yeah, exactly, Vess. So, Misp essentially retconned reality. Which is freaking cool, considering what happens in this franchise. But, anyways, let's get back into the game. And we can finally leave the bookstore. Does anyone remember when you had audio, like books on tape store, where you'd go down and rent them like you were going to Blockbuster? Nowadays you just get it on Audible, but you could, yeah, I remember renting books. That was fun.
I don't see Barry.
I see Barry.
Look, wait, maybe that's him. That's the way to the chopper.
Wait. Sorry, I gotta go take care of this yellow paint over here. So apparently whoever was working in the bookstore, I presume that whoever owns the bookstore just loves gardening. Because this is her rear, this is this individual's rear storage. And we never learn who the bookstore owner is. Okay, let's head on back and read some more of our guide. Alright, so this is the one we just found. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy is when men are afraid of the light. Not in this case, Plato. I've placed a chest inside the potting shed in the parking lot of the bookshop. Cynthia's getting sassy with Plato. That's rich. So, Kielbasa, you feel the problem with retcons is they're usually done for the worse and have no in-universe explanation. Alan makes the world being torn up and pasted together work together so well. Yeah, and that's why I... Like, it's funny, because when I was playing through the Phasmophobia Alan Wake crossover event, they do use the term where Alan retconned Agent Campbell's nursery rhyme puzzles. They use the term retcon specifically. Now, I prefer... Now that I've replayed American Nightmare, I prefer to use the term reality shift, because that is the term that Alan uses in the American Nightmare. So, retcon, reality shift, however you want to refer to it, same thing. But the Remedyverse specifically makes it canon. Retcons are canon. And yes, you guys heard the cat. Let me go grab her. Get on in here, girl. There's your good kitty. So she was outside running around the neighborhood the entire time. That's why we had no interruptions at the start. But when I went to go get my tea, she finally wanted to come inside. What's the difference between a reality shift and an echo? Okay, actually, good question. So a reality shift is an inciting incident where reality changes. So Tom the poet writing himself out of existence is a reality shift. Alan releasing Departure, reality shift. The Return manuscript in Alan Wake 2, reality shift. That's when something's changed. Like we were just earlier on in this stream, we were looking at how the town literally redistributed itself. Where the city hall used to be, now that's the sheriff's station. And where the sheriff's office used to be, now somehow goes down into the basement. So that wasn't there before. So things just alter themselves. That's a reality shift, and it's usually caused by an artist dabbling with Cauldron Lake and The Dark Place by extension. Now, an echo is where you have two separate universes that have a narrative overlap. So we keep seeing, like, for example, Agent Cooper, Agent Torrance, Night Springs episodes. Like, Night Springs are perfect examples of echoes, where it's like a very similar it's a very similar story being told, but it's not word for word what's being told. Okay, hold on. I gotta move my keyboard now because the cat wants to sit on top of it. So it's kind of like two events that rhyme with one another in different universes. Yes, it's true. I have seen Stranger Than Fiction. I do like that. Then again, I saw it after being a huge Alan Wake fan, so it's obvious why I like it. Anyways, let's go. Yeah, thank you, Ichiro. Yeah, because Max Payne does make a reference when he is in the funhouse for Address Unknown, where he's saying when your life becomes a twisted... when entertainment becomes a twisted reflection of your life, it's something weird about you being caught in the joke. And he's acknowledging that the events of Address Unknown, the events of Lords and Ladies, directly echo. They're mirroring his own life experience and what he's dealing with in that moment. That's a perfect example of echoes. But now let's go ahead and grab some more Thermos lore. And this one is on page 180. Alright, this one was by the kiddie sandbox in the park, close to the seesaw, which one of the cleanup gals swore moved on its own. Cooper called me and asked if there were reports of any strange lights in the area. I laughed and asked whether he'd called Mulder and Scully. He hung up. Must have touched a nerve. Okay, X-Files reference. Freaking love it. I grew up on this show, I swear to... Oh. My dad was a huge X-Files guy, so literally every night when I went to bed, because my bedtime when I was a child was literally as X-Files was airing, so I went to sleep to the sound of the X-Files theme. Like, on a daily basis. whenever it was in the air season, which is freaking cool. Anyways. Alright, let's go, lady. It wasn't a meme at the time, Moonbee. It was just the TV show theme. Okay, let's grab as much as I can before we do anything. And if you guys like X-Files, watch the sister series Millennium. Millennium, hands down, is one of my favorite TV shows ever. Set in the same universe as X-Files. There's even a crossover episode, which sucks ass, but it's there.
Barry got back to his feet inside the Bright Falls General Store and dusted himself off. Right next to the cans of baked beans was a locked case filled with flare guns, and yet here was a conveniently placed barrel of crowbars. Barry's smile widened as he realized that this was the classic movie scene where the hero had to gear up and arm himself to the teeth. Barry threw himself into the role.
I am so happy that so many of you have seen that show. And what are you talking about, Wolf? There was 3 seasons of Millennium. There's 3 seasons. The first 2 are really good. The third one, it's okay. It's okay. Yep. 3 full seasons. I own them all. On DVD. Alright, church events for the fall schedule. Sunday school on Sundays. It'd be funny if they had Sunday school on a different day, right? Bible studies on Mondays. Bright Falls Knitting Club meetings alternate Wednesday evenings. Deerfest Candle Night, September 14th. Deerfest Morning Service on September 15th. And the Presbyterian Choir of Watery visits in September 28th. Annual charity bake sale October 3rd. So for most of this game, they make it sound like Watery is not as decrepit as they portray it in Alan Wake 2. So I'm not sure if that itself is a victim of a reality shift. If Watery was a victim. Because in this game, they make it seem like they're rivals. Rather than Bright Falls being the big thing and Watery just kind of being an afterthought. Zoe, can you get off my notes? Hold on. The Zoe show has begun. Come on. Oh, there's a good girl. Hold on. I gotta give her a place to rest. That's not... Oh, don't rip my headphones out. Okay. Alright, let's get going. So this says concealed firearms are prohibited in this facility.
Piece of my mind about this lock. Ugh, I told him to get it fixed.
That just means you get to open carry, right? Because they only prohibit concealed firearms, but if you have open firearms, it's perfectly acceptable, right? Right? Okay, that zoomed way too far into that guy's crotch, and I feel kind of uncomfortable about it.
Omega-3 fatty acids are good for your heart.
I love that line! Omega-3 fatty acids are good for your heart. Ah! That is an iconic Taken line right there. Oh, whoa! You just came out of nowhere, You're not invited to the shindig. Where are you all coming from? Go away. No, Zoe. No, Zoe, don't get in front of the screen right now. We're in a busy fight. Zoe, please. No, no. Come on. Come on. Come on. You can stay on my lap and I will give you all the love. But plopping yourself right in front of the screen during a fight makes this really, really difficult. You're working for the Taken, aren't you? You're an agent of the Dark Presence trying to defeat me. Okay, I cannot. Just go. Okay, I literally cannot see now. Get on up here. Okay, you know, we have enough flare guns. It's fine. And we're about to lose it anyway as soon as we finish up this chapter, so I don't care. That's fine. We'll survive. And she's literally cleaning herself while shoving her butt up against the microphone. Nice, nice, nice.
Okay, it's open. Let's go, Wake.
Wow.
We keep them lit all night long on the night before Deerfest.
Why?
Well, it's tradition.
So I didn't comment on this because I kind of got distracted by the young lady over here, but I crack up every time when they talk about omega-3 fatty acids are good for your heart, solely because for me, fish oil and that kind of stuff actually gives me heart palpitations, and it really messes me up. So I cannot take omega-3s. Omega-6s, sure, but omega-3s, it literally messes my body up. So according to the survival guide, hold on, where's my pen? Cat, where'd you... She's literally guarding my pen with her life. So in the survival guide, they say that Pastor Howard, who runs this church, is a very big outdoorsman. Oh, trust me, I am very sensitive to the stimulants, Marama. Like, half a cup of coffee literally gives me, like, cold sweats, and I start jittering like crazy. It makes me physically ill. Caffeine and me are not friends.
For it to be free, the Dark Presence needed the writer to finish the story. Again and again, the story let it get frustratingly close to the writer without letting it capture him. It was bound by the events depicted in the manuscript, but it could pursue the writer indirectly, put others on the task, and stop those who would help him. It took over everything in its path, made them its puppets, and sent them after Alan Wake.
Okay, so this is the manuscript page I was talking about a couple times throughout the course of this video. That, yeah, it's not letting it. Okay. This is the cutest thing ever. Literally sitting on my desk right now is a full, all 3 seasons and the film for Twin Peaks. It's a Blu-ray set. And Zoe is literally just nuzzling her head up against the DVD set right now. This is just so friggin' adorable. I love you, cat. You are a sweetheart. Alright, but before we head on out, we do need to pause and go back to the Alan Wake files. Because there is another section we gotta read for the very attached couple. Other oddities have been attributed to paranormal causes in the area. In 1957, Vern and Norma Bergdale, longtime Bright Falls residents, who were married for 43 years, died almost simultaneously on opposite sides of town, both of apparent natural causes. Newspaper accounts at the time noted that their dual passing was evidence that they truly shared a soul. Private letters from local archives, however, made references to an unsavory bargain Vern Bergdale had made, and that strange forces were involved with their passing. A rumor that was never confirmed is only one eyewitness was present with Norma Bergdale at the time of her death, was that she seemed to exhale a small black cloud before she collapsed and died. The witness, Betsy Sergestrom, thought it very odd because Norma did not smoke, and there was no odor that would explain the dark, somehow metallic puff. My friends have always told me I imagined it, Sergestrom insisted, but I have no imagination. I saw what I saw. So this one kind of implies to me, and this is my take on it, when I was doing my not my Night Springs, but my Alan Wake Files series, which I still need to finish, by the way, that Norma died at some point in the past, and the unsavory bargain was Vern bringing her back from the dead, but she lived only so long as he was alive, and then the bargain was gone. That's my take on this. Which is freaking depressing and kind of creepy at the same time. Anyways, let's head back in. Yeah, it's like Tar and Barbara, but with a caveat. And for some reason, in this sense, it actually worked. Vern actually succeeded where Tom failed, because he added that caveat that she dies, that she's only alive because of him. It's a better story, right? And maybe something like he's trading half of his time. Yeah, that's a good idea too, Break. I like that idea too. I'm going to write that down. No, Zoe. Okay. That is a really bad place to sleep, Zoe. Just because that's the keyboard that controls OBS, and if you break that, then the whole stream turns off. Exactly, Vest, he added a cost, versus Tom, who just said, I want my girlfriend back, she's alive again, snap of the finger, and it obviously didn't work. Okay, let's get back to the game. I wish I could read this, but I can't.
We're almost there. We'll have to go through the basement to get to the parking lot.
Yeah, there's no way going through the crypt will turn out to be a bad idea.
And down into the crypt below the church. Very creepy. Except it's not really a crypt. It's a wine cellar. It's fine. Get out of here. I want nothing to do with your shenanigans. And for some reason, well, I guess it's just the furnace. It's there to heat up the place. Old wood-burning stove and all that. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Thermos and thermos story. Let's get going. Okay, back to the Alan Wake Files. Or, sorry, the survival guide. There we go. Bright Falls Church has a crypt straight out of a horror movie, except with some fantastic wines. Unfortunately, I couldn't touch any. I made do with the empty coffee thermos, like the one in the corner opposite of the entrance steps. I didn't tell anyone, but I had a weird vision problem when I was there. I'll write more later. Again, he keeps seeing himself as being invisible. Torrent says maybe we have to switch him. Maybe it's ready to be switched off or something to that effect. Okay, let's head up. You guys ready? You guys ready for the best part?
Did you call 911?
Guess that one saw the light, huh? You didn't like that one?
Memory!
Well, I got plenty more.
What are the Christmas lights for?
Protection, man. Like garlic against vampires.
Vampires.
The helicopter's just across the parking lot and up the hill. Come on!
I love you, Barry. Alright, so again, in the novelization, the reason why those Christmas lights work is in the game it's kind of weird. How are the Christmas lights working without a power source? So according to the novel, he picked up a portable battery backup and keeps it inside of his jacket. And that's how he continuously powers. Yeah. Barry is the source. Please don't knock over my water, sweetheart. I mean, like...
The Bright Falls General Store is now my favorite place in the entire world. See this headlamp? It's like a superpower. I can just look at one of those things and they die. It's my flaming eye of Mordor. I wish I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Hey, I want a headlamp.
Last one.
Bastard.
Alright, so it's not necessarily just the equal equivalent, like the exchange and the trade and balancing the scales, but it's better fiction. It's a better story if you have to make a trade for something versus Tom, who just said, she's back. That's not a good story, because there's no stakes to it. Like, it's all about making a good narrative, and part of making good narrative is the trade-off. So it's more the trade-off is secondary to it being good fiction. Exactly. It's somehow... ... she returned. Yeah. It's just bad storytelling.
Alice had screamed until she had no voice left to scream. Around her, the darkness was alive. It was cold and wet and malevolent and without end. She was a prisoner, trapped in the dark place. The terror would have burned her mind out, but one thing made her hang on. She could sense Alan in the dark. She could hear him. She could see the words he was writing as flickering shadows. He sensed her too. He was trying to work his way to her.
Okay, there we go.
Someone throws a damn school bus at your head and you're about to take a helicopter ride with someone who may or may not have a pilot's license, you're cleared for departure to Night Springs.
Yeah, not bad. Alright, so yeah, we have a guy who ran directly into a fallen tree while he was driving down the road, and this is probably him. He probably hit the tree and was taken immediately. I can't scroll up Draco, so you're gonna have to repost it. No. Barry's nickname is he's Barry Wheeler, the Taken Killer. According to the novel, at least. Right in the dick.
Oh, I'm never gonna get used to this.
It's fine, bro. Alright, so in the... I think I mentioned this already, but in the Alan Wake Illuminated, which is the art book, there was an entire cutscene involving an earthquake that caused a giant forest fire. And Sarah had to guide Alan away, and that's why originally this fire department was here, was in relation to that. I heard from the commentator, some of the developers, is that this fire department was like, or the Bright Falls Fire Department was one of the first locations they built in game, and they basically almost got rid of it because they couldn't figure out a way to fit it into it. And then they finally decided, hey, you know what? We need a helicopter location. It makes sense, and they kept it around. So Barry the Light Knight of the Night. Too much alliteration. A lot of alliteration there. Okay, before we do anything else, let me grab all this stuff. Boom. Alright, let's take a pause and look at our thermos lore. It was on the low barrier at the foot of the fire station, training tower, in the parking lot. I asked Torrance about the weird vision. A glitch in the Matrix, he called it. Cooper texted me, You are slow dying. Payback for the joke about the UFO lights. Still, he didn't need to be so mean. My vision's back to full color now. Not cool, guys! A glitch in the Matrix. You are slow dying. It seems like everybody that this agent is texting knows more about what's going on with him than he does. Anyways, let's head back. Oh, cool little detail. Before we start this event, I want to go through one last thing. Because when the cutscene is playing, I really don't want to talk about it. So, in the novelization, as soon as they get inside the helicopter and Sarah flies them away, Alan happens to find underneath the passenger seat of the helicopter a couple bottles of espresso and cream. Because, you know, he needs to have the caffeine to keep him going throughout the rest of the night. And just magically, there's espresso in the helicopter. You know what? Screw it. He wrote it. Moving on with life. Also, when Sarah's talking, making fun of Alan's writing in the book, in this upcoming scene, she tells him that he needs a technical advisor when he's writing crime novels, because she's joking that revolvers don't really have safety switches, and Alan described in one of his books the safety switch in a revolver, and she's like, what are you talking about? That's not a thing. It's like, you an idiot, bro. And Barry jokes that if they made a movie about the events going on right now, he wants to have Philip Seymour Hoffman play him. And let's go pull... If you don't know that actor, let me pull him up real quick. I'll be right there. So this is going to be Philip Seymour. This guy. So Barry wanted him to play him. I don't know. This is back in 2010 EMD, so I'm not sure if he's passed away by now. And I'm like, you know what? I can see it. I can see it. So that's all I have. Now let's get the final fight in and then jump on the helicopter. He's one of those actors that when you see him, you know him, but going by the name alone, you don't really recognize him. At least that's my experience. To play Barry Ichiro. He wants that actor to play him. Okay, let's do this.
Get ready, I'll hold them off.
Alright, so we're just gonna hang up right here. Whoa! Too close, boys. Stay down, stay down, stay down. I didn't get a chance to set up all my lights yet. There we go. Okay, we're good. I feel a little bit safer now. And we're about to lose all of our gear, so I really don't care about just blowing through it all. Yeah, man. Skipping things in the checklist? That does not seem safe! More grenades. I'll take the grenades. You're not getting off the roof there. The roof is officially on fire, guys. Is it weird that every time I get the roof is on fire thing, I just want to go watch Mystery Men? It's such a fun film. I watched the shit out of that movie when I was a kid. Aw, you're supposed to do an entire cartwheel in midair. None of you are getting here. I am king of the castle. Alright, later.
Wait, you better put an end to this.
Just get me to Weaver, Sheriff.
You're taking a big chance on a local crazy lady, Al. I hope you're right about her, or we can kiss this town goodbye.
I guess you New Yorkers are used to rough situations like this.
Right. The city's a war zone. King Kong, mutant alligators, and Alex Casey shoots the place up every weekend. Look, I never even carried a gun until a couple of days ago.
Well, my dad used to be a cop there. Tells some pretty wild stories.
Stuff like this?
No, just normal bad stuff. Kind of like your books, Wake. I used to tease Dad that he was just like Alex Casey.
You've read me.
Oh, sure. You're a pretty good writer. A little heavy on the metaphors, maybe.
Nobody's ever said
and
that
you need a
before.
technical advisor because safety switch in a
We're
revolver?
coming up on the power plant. See the lit building over there? And that's the dam further up the river. I can't land here. I'll take her down the road across the river.
Just get me there, Sheriff.
Hold on!
Ow!
Son of a bitch!
Alrighties, well, we are unfortunately going to be ending off the stream right here. We are officially at that point of the night. You know what, let's take out these birds just because. And we will pick up going through the entire meet Cynthia Weaver, get to the well-lit room, and probably end off Wednesday at that point. But I want to talk, so I gotta get rid of these birds. Get out of here. Get out of here. Can we at least listen to War on the radio? We'll start that off next time. We'll start off with War. And hopefully I won't get copyrighted this time. Oh, gosh. Anyways, let me just check a couple things. You know, I'll read my notes later, because I'm curious if I should have read as much of the Night Springs comic book that we did earlier on the stream. Because while Sarah is flying that helicopter is when
the door to open.
Frank is driving down that coastway. So after this event, right now, is when he meets up with the Night Springs group and starts giving them orders and directing them around town. But anyways, that will be it for now. I will see you guys in a couple days when we get to the lore dump that is about to come up right around here. And for some reason we have canned milk. Long-lasting dairies. It better, if you're sitting it out here without refrigeration, it better be a long-lasting dairy. Anyways, guys, take it easy. Have a good night. Have a good morning, depending on wherever you're at in the world. Later.